Hi, my name is Tim Hill and my company is Utonic, and today we're going to talk about runner's knee. So what are the contributory factors? So, overpronation. So what is overpronation? Overpronation is when the knee comes too far medially and rotates over the toes. So it should track in line, and overpronation, what happens is the knee starts to wander inwards. So there are a few things that can cause this. So one, flat feet. So if you've got flat feet, then you need to make sure that obviously you've got adequate arch support in your shoes as well. It could just be actually down to fatigue. So it could be that ordinarily you actually do have an arch, but after a while your glutes fatigue, which can then lead to overpronation basically. So the other thing as well is to look at your trainers. So when trainers tend to wear out, that will also almost essentially create an orthotic, but in a bad way. So if you think, say, on this, if this shoe starts to wear out on the outside edge, it's going to tip you straight over into an awkward position basically. The other thing that can happen as well is if you actually feel the trainers as they wear, the rubber tends to wear, or the memory in the foam. So what you might actually find is you might find that one side of your shoe is squishier than the other, and again that's going to start messing around with your feet and your biomechanics. So yeah, make sure that your shoes are still adequate for running and not just gardening. Okay, the next thing, common problem, short hip flexors, which obviously is going to lead to poor posture, which will in turn lead to weak glutes, and especially your glute medius. So you need good strength in the hips in order to keep that knee tracking in line. The other thing as well is commonly if the glutes are weak, then often we have overly tight external rotator of the hip, and the critical one being the piriformis. So what actually then happens is the foot's externally rotated, the arch will collapse, and then again that leads into pronation. Similarly, if you have short calf muscles and you cannot dorsiflex, when you land, instead of the knee coming over and tracking in line, what will happen is the knee will follow the path of least resistance. So it needs to be able to come over the toe, and if it can't come over the toe, it will just basically wander inwards and lead you into that overpronation again. Running downhill, if you've got a problem with runner's knee, running downhill will make it worse. So I'll try and avoid downhill running. Are you increasing your volume too quick? Increasing your volume if you're building up to a run, but you're following a training plan that you've maybe downloaded offline, it probably doesn't have any strength training in it. So you need to look at actually factoring in when you're going to do your strength training, and maybe actually look at cutting out one of the runs that's actually in the program. So it might be, say, if you don't have enough time, then you could say you're going to do 2 runs and maybe make the 3rd run a strength session, and that you might find that will then actually help. Okay, so how can we treat it? First of all, footwear. So as we've just discussed, look at your footwear, make sure your trainers aren't worn out, make sure you've got the right trainers to use. So maybe go and visit a specialist running shop and get sized up. The next, obviously, check whether your arch supports are also adequate. So a good pair of trainers should have enough arch support, but if you've got really flat feet, you might need a little bit more assistance. So you can get some pretty good quality, inexpensive ones by just checking online. But you can see there's quite a hard piece of plastic in the middle there, which is designed to help create that arch. Cut your volume until you've established a base level, and then from there you can then work on trying to increase it by a maximum of 10% a week. But listen to your body, and only really make sure that you can actually increase your distance when you can run pain-free. And as we've discussed, improve your hip flexibility and then work on your glute strength. So I'll link the video again in the description, which will take you to how you can self-release your hip flexors and stretch your glutes as well. Improve glute strength, so again I'll link a graded program of exercises that you can follow. So the main thing when you do them is try and make sure that you don't move on to the next level before you're able to complete the previous level with specified reps with good form. If you can't dorsiflex enough, then you need to work on the ankle flexibility as well. So again, I'll link a video of how you can work on self massage into those calves. Then obviously that new range in your calf muscles will be weak, so you'll need to strengthen them up again. So again, I'll link some videos to how you can strengthen the calves as well. The other thing is going hand in hand with recovery is, are you getting enough sleep? So sleep is really important. We should be aiming for 8 hours a day. I know sometimes it's not achievable, but between 7 and 8 is good. If you're getting less than 7 hours, then yeah, you're probably not getting enough recovery for your efforts. The other thing to look at as well is your diet. So say if you suddenly increase your volume, then endurance sports do require an adequate supply of protein. So depending on your volume and depending on how your body is able to restore, then probably looking at somewhere between 1.5 and 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So anyway, I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and then you won't miss out on the next one.